How confusing is healthy eating? Has there been a time in your life where you've read one magazine or you've read another and they're just totally contradicting? I mean, one magazine says one thing and one magazine says another.
And then you'll look on the internet and all of the different web pages will tell you something different. You speak to various coaches or various personal trainers, they all have their own methodologies, they all have their own ways. Even your friends and family, although they're trying to do good for you, they will also all have their own ideas.
Then what happens? You go on Instagram and the celebrities are trying to sell you a product or a service or something else that's just really confusing. Has there been a time in your life where you've followed a diet? When it started, it was great, but then maybe you failed. But when you failed, maybe you gained more weight than when you started the diet.
So you probably felt a little bit depressed, maybe a little bit disappointed, but eventually you summoned the willpower and picked yourself back up again, and you started a new diet.
So you followed two completely different approaches, but both worked in the start, right?
So is it you that went wrong, or is it the diet?
Right, let's ask Hannah. She's one of the people that's been following this system for a long time.
Thanks, Chris. So basically, my name's Hannah. I did a meal replacement program for a while, which involved replacing food with protein shakes and juices. Now, I did lose a lot of weight as a result of doing that because it was such a restrictive calorie deficit. However, I felt really low all the time and hungry all the time. And when I eventually came back to eating food, I put weight back on. It wasn't great, it wasn't ideal. Now, since meeting Chris of Empowered by Eating, I've lived a sustainable lifestyle with a calorie deficit that actually meets my requirements, so I feel a lot better. I'm eating a hell of a lot more than I was, but I'm still losing weight. My current weight loss is 121 pounds and counting. I'm really proud of what I've managed to achieve with Chris's help and also the support of everybody at my gym.
So can we agree that even the so-called experts in the media, who might have good intentions, but unfortunately they're trying to sell you something that will satisfy that quick fix mentality that we all have?
So they offer what they believe is the solution, but unfortunately it's not something that you can stick to long term, is it?
For us personally, we had kind of 8 years where we were super confused, stressed, potentially even a little bit depressed, where our knowledge was completely wrong. And we ended up following lots of conflicting advice, where we would have advice to eat low fat, high fat, cut out bread, not cut out bread, eat 6 meals, eat 3 meals, depending on who you were talking to, eat after 6 p.m, don't eat after 6 p.m, eat after 4 p.m, don't eat after 4 p.m. It was all just super confusing. I just wanted to share with you a story about tuna and pickles. This is a story that went on and we spoke about in seminars, where unfortunately I got caught up in a magazine where it told me to eat pickles every 15 minutes and tuna every 3 hours. Now I did that for quite a long time, and unfortunately I ended up falling off the bandwagon, as you can quite imagine, because that's not healthy or balanced, right? So I ended up binging non-stop on Cocoa Pops, and then I accidentally became obese while trying to be healthy and fit.
And so for me, it was pretty much a similar story, only mine was with chocolate. You see, back then I had huge cravings for chocolate that I was trying to overcome. Now, most magazines were telling me to completely and utterly avoid the stuff, as you might have experienced yourself. So I did, and I also followed the training and nutrition advice of these various magazines. But they weren't sustainable, and they weren't tailored for me. And after probably 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, if I was doing really well, of cutting everything out that I thought that I had to, I'd get to that weekend 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and I would just binge. I mean, full-blown binge. Probably putting away 10, 15,000 calories in that weekend because I just felt so restricted for the rest of the time.
So what we decided to do was educate ourselves from literally the best in the industry. And we went one step further and developed a team of what we'd call advisors, sports scientists, doctors, nutritionists, psychologists, and then went above them to get the best information we possibly could.
So since then, we've together managed to spend 8 years with a really sustainable approach to nutrition. On the back of that, what we've managed to create is a very simple step-by-step system for you guys, something that you can follow, something that you can start today and implement and finally start getting some results.
So in reality, we had this super confused 8 years, and then we had this unconfused 8 years where in reality we had better knowledge, a lot less stress, and a really simple way of living. And that's what we want to give you guys.
Okay, so what is it?
Well, it's an educational online platform with a common sense approach to health, fitness, and wellness. That's it.
So it is a simple step-by-step daily delivery of educational bite-sized videos delivered to you in either video format or audio format, so that you can either watch or listen, whichever you prefer. Now, importantly, you can progress along through this system at your own pace, so you don't have to feel under pressure. And just to ensure that you fully understand, at the end of each series of videos, we're just going to ask you a couple of questions, just so that both we can understand and you can understand if the information that we've provided has been simple enough for you to follow.
And it's quite cool too, because at the end of the questions, there's some rewards that you're going to get. And there's a Facebook support group where there's thousands of people who have already followed this system, where you can share your experiences with and basically share what's going on and get some more information from them.
Okay, so Chris, what can these guys use it for?
Okay, so first of all, you can use it for fat loss, muscle gain, if that's your goal, or maybe you're interested in general health or better thinking. That's what you can use it for as well. Or maybe you've had some problems in the past where you've had a little bit of a brain fog. That might have been caused by not eating properly. And of course, overall, having this system in place is going to give you more energy to be able to live the life you want to lead. And then, of course, the most important thing is it's going to take away all of the confusion from the magazines, the internet, Instagram, social media, and help you live a deconfused life, even if that's a word. So when you're ready, click this button, but be careful, because we know what the internet's like. It'll make it fall into your junk folder within your email, and that's where you're going to get free access to the first part of the course. So if you haven't clicked yet, I'm guessing maybe you need a little bit more information about what's going to be inside the system. So first of all, it's without all of the myths and misconceptions. It's without all of the confusion. It's been applied over and over again.
We've actually tested this system on thousands upon thousands of our clients. We even use it ourselves, obviously. And probably the main reason that we really enjoy it is because it's not extreme. It fits into both our family life and our work life. Even our children will be able to use this system.
Our parents as well. Our grandparents can even use this. It's simple to understand and simple to implement. And of course, it fits into modern life and it's user friendly.
So we're both in our 30s with 16 years of experience. Unfortunately, 8 of those was doing it wrong, but thankfully, 8 have now been doing it right.
Now, the Empowered by Eating team and myself are ridiculously passionate about helping you bypass that bad 8 years. That what we've done is we've created a system where the first part is free. So you might as well test drive it, hey? So when you're ready, click this button, get signed up, but be careful because it probably will fall into your junk folder. Just move it across and then we can get you to be one of the members of our system free of charge. So are you ready to move towards a healthier body and mind? Move towards a place with less stress, where there is no guilt about eating, and where, of course, you feel empowered by eating.
You will learn what to eat for optimal health. You'll become stronger so that you can play with your kids. You become stronger so that when you're older, you will have more energy. You'll be able to do more things. And you're going to feel more confident. You'll have more self-esteem. Because, quite frankly, you're probably going to look good naked.
So stop worrying about who is right, who is wrong in terms of health, fitness and wellness. Stop jumping between the diets in the magazines.
So let's just share some statistics with you.
Unfortunately, we live in a world where if you're not one of the 37% currently obese, chances are 60% of you listening right now quite possibly could be in the future.
Scary, isn't it?
So I have a question for you. Are you ready for a complete fresh start? I want to share something with you today that you can use and implement for the rest of your life.
Thousands of people have already been through this system. We've seen it totally and utterly transform people's lives on countless occasions and completely change the way that they think about healthy eating. And we just want that to be you. So signing up for free will effectively allow you to take a look around the whole of the website, around the system, and learn and put into practice today a lot of what we teach. Now, you may still be a little bit skeptical. We understand it. We've been there. We've been that person who is skeptical, who's been let down by so many systems, by so many people. But we're different. We really are. We're here to help you. So who is this system for? Well, maybe you're a builder. You spend all day on a site, up and down ladders, carrying tons of equipment, and you need all of the energy to get you through your working day, and then maybe even to get you to the gym in the evening.
Maybe you followed a diet plan where you've had the same foods all week and you keep not sticking to it and it's not sustainable for you. Maybe you failed because maybe you had no energy during that diet plan.
Or you're a business person. You're in and out of meetings. You may go hours and hours without eating. So you want to know what to eat when you have the time. And you also need to know whether the information that you've heard before about eating every 3 hours or eating every 2 hours is the truth.
Important.
Whether it's important or whether or not.
Maybe you're the entrepreneur who's fascinated by personal development, passionate about finding their own passion and becoming the best version of yourself through your entrepreneurial journey. But when you go into networking events, maybe you don't know if you're allowed to drink that wine, or you're allowed to drink that champagne, or have the meal out with clients. So this again would be for you.
Or you could be that single parent, or that parent who is looking after the children at home, and you've got a 2-year-old who's running around you, and you need tons and tons of energy just to keep up with them.
So maybe your hormones are all over the place and you don't know that they're all over the place. So maybe you want to make sure that you're eating the correct foods to ensure that your hormones are balanced. Maybe you have bad moods because of them hormones, and you want to balance your hormones and the bad moods. This is probably for you as well.
Or you could even be just a general fitness fanatic who is just looking for that extra energy to get the extra couple of miles maybe. Or, you've been in work all day and you just want tons of energy, tons of vitality, so that you feel great about yourself, so that you can actually do the things that you love to do.
So we'll just finish by saying, click on the link that we said, make sure it doesn't go in your junk folder, and join the Empowered by Eating system for free. And once you're happy with it, then you can go further.
It's a wrap.